Hey there, this is Sultan with WPFunnels. Today, I want to share a lesson that I recently learned by reading a book called Don't Make Me Think by Steve Crook. It's a great book. Have you read it by any chance? If not, then I really suggest you do, because it's going to change your perspective on how people browsing the internet think about usability, right? Now, the concept of the book is pretty straightforward. Don't make me think from the perspective of the visitor. Whenever someone visits your website, you are not supposed to make him think harder, but rather you're supposed to make the experience so smooth that they don't need to think about what to do, because everything is so straightforward. They can easily know where to go to find out what they're looking for, how to do it, and what action to take next. Everything should be crystal clear, right? Now today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about the concept of don't make me think around the checkout page. You see, most of you that have online stores, you initially set up your online shop, you set up the payment gateways, and then you get busy with promoting the products or designing the rest of the website. But what happens in there is you end up ignoring the checkout page, which in fact is actually the most important part of the buying journey, right? Because that's where people pay you. Now, here's the thing. Worldwide, there is over 60% abandoned cart rate, right? Which means that most people that comes to your online store, out of every 100 of them, 60 of them leave the shop without placing an order. But it's not just regular drop-offs. It means that these people have browsed products in your shop, they added them to the cart and went to the checkout page and then left, right? So there must be something wrong with the checkout for this to happen. And if you have the concept of don't make me think, then you could actually avoid losing a lot of them, okay? It's pretty given that if your checkout page is complicated, if it's confusing, or if the journey is confusing, people are going to abandon anyways, right? But what I'm going to do today is I'm going to talk about specifics. I'm going to point out very specific reasons that many people are losing customers on the checkout page, so that in case you're facing it, you can fix it right away with the concept of don't make me think. All right, so let's begin. Over the past few weeks, I have spent quite some time researching on how I can solve different problems around the checkout process using the concepts of don't make me think. And I've read several Reddit threads. I've read discussions by WooCommerce store owners on LinkedIn. I've looked into reports from Baymart and Etsy, and you'd be surprised to find out what is the biggest reason why people drop off. Well, it's hidden additional costs revealed at the checkout page. That's right. By additional cost, I mean shipping costs. It could be taxes. It could be any other additional fees that you have involved with your product, right? Now, you'd be telling me that, hey, we have to charge taxes and shipping fees to the customers. We don't have an alternative. Of course, you do need to do that. But here's why this is a problem. And Steve Crook has mentioned this in his book. He goes by the concept of reservoir of goodwill. Whenever a customer comes to your website, they come with a certain level of trust. And every time you reveal something hidden, it negatively impacts the customer's trust. And when they lose that trust, what they do straight up is they just cross out the browser. They no longer proceed with the payments, right? Now let's understand from the customer's perspective. When someone is buying online, they're actually thinking of a budget they want to spend, right? Everybody thinks about how much they want to spend when they're shopping online. And when they're adding products to the cart, they're thinking, okay, I still have this much money. Let's see if I can find another product that goes with this. Unless they're, searching for something they need. But in most cases in online shopping, whenever they buy something they need, if they have additional budget, they also look for additional products to add to the cart, right? Now, I'm not saying that this is something that happens to everyone, but this is actually a common case for a lot of people that shops online. Now, once they've added to the cart and they go to the checkout page, it just means that they're ready to pay, right? But when they come to the checkout, they see there's an increase in price and they're surprised because now they do not have enough budget for that, right? So at this point, they're no longer deciding, do I need this product or not? They're deciding, do I want to spend this extra amount right now, or do I have this extra amount with me right now? So in most cases, people decide, no, I don't want to spend this amount right now. And they just cross out the whole cart instead of, just removing one product and going with the rest, or instead of adjusting the budget, right? So that's the classic scenario of how customers think at this specific situation. So what should be the solution? Well, the solution is really not that complicated. You need to set the expectation earlier. By earlier, I mean you need to reveal the additional cost before they go to the checkout page. For example, you could reveal that on the cart page. When someone is on the cart page, at this point, they are considering that, okay, do I really need all of this product? I've added this to the cart, but let's make a final decision. At this point, if they see that, okay, there is a shipping cost involved and there is taxes involved, they're obviously going to think about what products to swap, or do I adjust my budget? All right. This is not a point they've decided to pay. This is a point they're considering. So this is a perfect place where you can show the additional cost. They know exactly what they'll be paying before they go to the checkout page and make the payment, right? So that's keeping the trust and giving them the option to make a decision instead of leaving. Okay. Now you might be saying that, okay, the problem with taxes, it depends on the country. Of course it does. What you can do is you can find a tool that traces the geolocation of the customer and reveals the taxes accordingly. Now, if they choose a different shipping location on the checkout page, at that time, there could be a change in the taxes. But what you can do at that time is you can leave a small note below the tax fee that, hey, since you're currently located in this place, the tax was assumed on that country. But since you have a different country selected, now the new tax fee will be this. So this is going to keep things transparent and still keep the trust of the customer. But it's not going to be a total surprise because they've already known that they have to pay taxes and shipping fees in the previous step on the cart page, right? Also, different informative pages of your site where you give instructions on how to place orders or how delivery goes. You could mention your shipping rates in case you have a fixed shipping rate, right? Or you could explain the process of how the shipping rate is picked and the taxes apply so that they know that, okay, when I'm about to order, these are the things that's going to be added, okay? So it's no longer a surprise. It keeps their trust and it helps you, make them consider going through with the checkout, all right? So go ahead and fix this and it's going to save you from losing a lot of customers. Now, this is a case that is not always directly related to the checkout page, but it's one that leads to the checkout or causes friction to the checkout. So I've seen that in many stores, when someone is about to place orders, they make it mandatory for the person to open an account before they can actually place an order, or they make it mandatory that the person has to be signed in to place the order. Now, I understand your concern. You want to have more control over the customer's data so that you can reach them back whenever needed. Also, you want to make sure that it's not a fake order. I understand all of that, but you have to also see the negative impact of this. In Steve Crook's book, Don't Make Me Think, he mentioned the second law of usability, where he said that it doesn't matter how many clicks it takes for a person to take action, as long as the clicks are ambiguous, and it doesn't make them make a lot of decisions, it's okay, right? But the problem here is when you're making them open an account while placing an order, they have to make additional decisions that they were not prepared for. For example, they're now on the checkout page thinking that, okay, I've already decided on these products, now I'm just going to pay with my card, right? But now you're telling him, hey, create an account before you can place an order. And now they have to decide, okay, what email I will use for this or what password to set. And I know a lot of you also have set up an email verification for the account. So now they also have to log into their email account, click on the verification link before they can even place order. So that's a lot of decisions to make and a lot of steps to take, which can cause a huge friction for the buyer, right? So in many cases, what people think that, hey, I don't have this much time, I'll place the order later, and then they close it and move on to their life and they forget about it. And in many cases, there are people who are like, okay, now I have to open this account. I don't know how many steps this includes. Maybe they can ask for more information later, and I really don't have that much time. So they end up, closing the browser and deciding not to place the order entirely, right? This is a disadvantage because when a person is on the checkout page, it's almost guaranteed that they want the products, right? And it's up to you to make sure that they do not walk away, right? Now, I understand that the concern about the fake orders is still there, but you can really handle it smartly. I've seen stores handle it in this way, that when someone places an order right on the confirmation page, they give an option that, hey, why don't you create an account so that you can track your order efficiently? Or I've also seen a specific site handling it like this, that on the confirmation page, they say that, hey, do you want us to confirm the order via email or via phone call, right? So whichever the customer chooses, they handle it that way. So you can obviously send an email to tell the customers, hey, confirm your order before I ship it. Or you can also make a phone call before shipping out the product. That saves you a whole lot of confusion, because if someone received a phone call and confirmed the order, then it's a high chance that this won't get canceled on the way to shipping, right? Now, the solution is actually quite simple. In any online shop, you have the option to enable guest checkout, which means Nobody has to open an account or stay logged in to place an order. They can directly choose the products and go ahead and proceed with checkout, and then you take the responsibility of confirming it and shipping the products, right? Now, I would also like to point out the fact that all this confusion about fake orders or worry about, I want the account open is around the concept of cash on delivery, right? So when someone orders and wants to pay cash on delivery, that's when you're worried that, okay, what if this is a fake order and I ship it out and nobody responds? I understand that. But just because you want to protect this one, what you're losing out is on customers who are ready to pay online. So if someone wants to pay with their credit card online and you're barring them from placing the order, then you're just losing an opportunity that is obvious, that is something you would definitely get paid for, right? So in this case, the wise thing to do is let them place the order, and then you decide how you're going to go about the confirmation. Because if they're paying online, you already make the money, and it's 90% of the time the customer is genuine, they are not going to cancel, and you're going to deliver successfully. So at that point, if you're creating a friction, then you're just creating your own problems, right? So as per Steve Crook, you should be making the usability mindless and unambiguous. So when customer has decided they want to place an order, make it all about placing the order first before thinking about an account or confirmation. Once they have done that, then make them think about the next step, And there are also creative ways to making customers open an account after they place an account. For example, you could tell them, for tracking the order, they have to create an account, or you could tell them that, hey, you've earned this much points. If you open an account, then you can check it out, or you can even offer them a coupon that, hey, open an account and get a coupon for your next order. So all of this works, right? So enable guest checkout and then decide how you're going to handle the next step, but make placing order mindless for the customers. So this past week, I was willing to place order on a new e-commerce site I found for frozen food, right? I usually order from another brand, but I decided to try this one out this time. But this is where I found this specific issue of losing information when I made a small mistake on the checkout form. Now, I'm not going to name them publicly, but let me explain what happened. So I added the products to the cart and I went to the checkout page, and they had a multi-step checkout set up over there. On the first step, I was supposed to fill out the billing information and then click on next for the next step, right? And I'm totally fine with it. Multi-step checkouts does make things easier and less confusing or less cluttered. But what happened there was, while filling out the information, I kind of forgot inputting the zip code, right? And then clicked on next. And the store told me that it's mandatory to fill out the zip code. That's okay. But what it also did was it refreshed the form and removed all the information on the checkout page. I've spent a few minutes inputting my name, my addresses, and everything over there. And just because I forgot to enter the zip code, it just removed all of those. And now it's making me input all the information again. So that is a huge friction. I got annoyed, but I decided, okay, let's be patient. Let's do it again. That's fine. But a lot of people will not be this much patient. A lot of people will think, hey, this is nuts. Why did they remove all of this? They're going to get angry and they're just going to leave, right? This happens. Trust me, this happens. Now, this is where I'll pull reference from Steve Crook's book, Don't Make Me Think, that it ties to his concept of reservoir of goodwill, but in a different angle. In the concept, he also talked about not punishing customers for bad decisions, right? And over here, if you're going to make a customer re-enter the whole form because he made a small mistake with entering a required field, that's like punishing him for making that mistake, right? So this is something that creates quick friction. If someone is on the checkout page, you do not want him to get annoyed because that person is ready to pay you. So why don't you go ahead and check out your store, try to see if you make a mistake on a required field and see that when it warns you, does it remove all the fields? If it does, then work with the person that handles your website to get it fixed, because this is really annoying for a lot of people, and not everybody is kind of patient enough to refill all the information and place the order, right? So go ahead and fix that. A long checkout form is quite tiresome and sometimes annoying, right? I've seen a lot of shops, they have just the default checkout in place. They didn't care that if they need all of this information or not, but their checkout asks for a lot of information that people really don't need to provide, right? In Steve Crook's book, Don't Make Me Think, in the chapter Reservoir of Goodwill, he mentioned that asking for additional information you do not really need is one of the reasons why people think that you do not have the best interest in mind for them, right? And what you're really doing is you're creating friction here. You're making customers, think and input more information, make them work more for a straightforward placing an order, right? So this is a common advice you will get from everyone because it actually exists. A lot of store owners do not really care about this because they feel like if someone is about to order, they will fill out, right? But no, many people find it annoying when they see that you are asking for a lot of information and they get annoyed, they get tired, and they think that, hey, I don't have time for this, and they just leave, right? You do not want that. So the solution is pretty straightforward. You should edit your checkout form and only include the fields that you really need to proceed with the order. So for example, if you're selling digital products, you really do not need the physical address of the customer. All right. All you need is his name, his email address, and maybe his zip code for depending on the payment gateway that you're using. But that's just about it. You do not need any other information. So if you don't need them, do not ask for them. For physical products, there are a lot of fields that you really do not need. For example, if you have company name included in the form, or if you are asking for a birthday, you do not really need those things, right? If someone is placing an order, you do not need to care what company he is from. As long as you have his name, his address, you can send it out to them and they're going to receive it. But when you're asking for this additional information, it gives them more cognitive load. It gives them more situations to make decisions or take actions, creating more and more frictions. And the more time they spend filling out the form, the higher the chances they are going to abandon the cart before even placing the order. Okay, so go ahead. In this case, I would recommend you try using some sort of checkout field editor. In case you're using WPFunnels, you could use its own field editor, or you could look into Checkoutify, which is pretty good for WooCommerce. So those are certain suggestions I'm giving you because those are our own plugins. You can also look into external plugins, that's really fine. But the bottom line is you need to fix your checkout form and not include all those unnecessary fields. Order bumps, is it a distraction or is it actually a key to your growth? Well, nowadays, most online stores consider placing order bumps on the checkout page because that's a key concept of e-commerce growth. If you want to grow your e-commerce profits, you need to consider increasing your average order value, which means that from every customer, you want to earn as much as possible instead of focusing on bringing new customers every time. And that's what order bump serves. Order bump helps you make customers spend additional amount while on the checkout page, all right? That being said, order bumps can often act as a distraction as well if not done right. Okay, if you do it right, order bumps will give you the highest of advantages. But if you did not do it right, order bump can act as a distraction, leading customers away from placing orders, right? Let me explain. In Steve Krug's book, Don't Make Me Think, he talked about visual hierarchy. He said that each page needs a clear focal point. The most important action required should look the most important, and everything else should sit visually beneath it. All right, what it really means is that whenever someone is on a page on your website, whether it's a checkout page or a landing page, the main action that you want them to take should be the most prominently visible. Okay, everything else should not distract them away from it. Okay, now while on the checkout page, the most important part is the place order button. Right, so whenever someone is on the checkout page, you want them to fill out the form, but what you really want is quickly fill those out and place order. Okay, that should be the most prominent button. But what many stores do is that they put a fancy order bump on the checkout page, make it so colorful and add a different CTA button color, which takes the people's focus away from the place order and more focus on the order bump product. Now, what this does is that it makes people confused that, okay, what should I do next? Why am I supposed to add this product to the order? I mean, is this a must-have action? They get confused like that, okay? And I've also seen a lot of people, what they do is when they get too much focus on the order bump, they just go back to the shop page and start browsing that particular product with the order bump. And while browsing through, they forget that they're supposed to go through a checkout, and they end up forgetting and abandoning the cart. So this is a huge barrier you do not want to have. The clear solution is pretty simple. When you place an order bump, design it to be naturally placed on the site. Yes, you need to have some sort of distinction from the whole checkout page so that they know it's an order bump. So in this case, what you can do is you place the order bump smartly, maybe just above the list of products that's on your checkout page, And over there, you give a slight differentiation of colors, maybe with a small border, so that they know that, okay, this is specifically for adding a product to the list of products you have in the cart, right? And they do not get confused that, okay, this is the ultimate action they have to take. They can choose if they want it or not, and make it a one-click addition. So when they click on it, it gets added right away. Do not make them make multiple actions to get it to the checkout, right? So make the order bump naturally placed, make it distinguished for a particular section, but not the whole page. In the whole page, the buy now button should be the most important button. Okay, so that way you can have your order bump, make people spend more. At the same time, you do not get them distracted and move away the core action that you want them to take, that is to place the order. Okay, and you can do that really easily in case you're using WPFunnels or Checkoutify. You can place order bumps on the checkout page and design it however you want. And in that case, as I said, try to make it less prominent compared to the place order button, but still make it attracting enough when they're looking at that particular section. I always recommend placing the order bump right above the list of products shown in the checkout page, which is the product summary area, because that's the time when people are thinking about products. And in fact, I recommend people going for a multi-step checkout where the first step is about the order summary, the product list. At that time, if there's the order bump there, it gives them a chance to consider, okay, since this is the cost of my products I have right now, should I add this to the cart and pay this extra amount? So it gives them the chance of consideration and not get distracted away from placing the whole order. Okay, so go ahead and try this out. I'm telling you, do not stop using order bumps, but use it right. Remember I told you that I prefer multi-step checkout in most cases? Well, yes, I do, but you also have to do that right? I've seen a lot of stores implementing multi-step checkout but did not give any progress indicator. What I mean is that they do not tell customers how many steps are remaining or what step they are at or what is expected of them in these particular steps. So these are not clear on the multi-step checkout, and what this does is this creates anxiety, this creates confusion in the customers. They do not know how long it will take for them to proceed with the whole checkout process. And in a lot of cases, people just abandon the cart, right? I'll draw back to the concept of self-evident over self-explanatory by Steve Crook in the book Don't Make Me Think, where he explained that if something cannot be made obvious at a glance, then it at least have to explain itself instantly. Because people do not read details, they usually muddle through and hope it works. So in a multi-step checkout, if you do not mention how many steps are there, and in most cases what is expected of the step, then it confuses the customers and often pushes them away. And the fix is pretty simple. Whenever you're using a multi-step checkout, always make sure that it includes a progress tracker. A person should be able to know how many steps are included in this multi-step checkout, and it's best if you could name each step to give a short indication of what's expected. For example, I prefer that in a multi-step checkout, if you have broken down into 3 steps, let's say billing, shipping, and product summary, just name that on top below the steps. So step 1, billing information, step 2, shipping information, step 3, review and order, let's say. So if you can give such names and show the progress, what step they're on, keeps them away from feeling overwhelmed, right? So they know exactly what's happening, they can stay calm and take their actions the way they're expected to. Okay, so when you're using multi-step checkout, make sure to include a progress indicator. Another interesting thing I found out is that a lot of stores have coupon fields, but they keep it so hidden that it's hard for people to find out. Now, let's say if someone has won a coupon from you and they came to the checkout to place an order with hopes that they're going to use their coupon to get a discount, but they cannot find where to place the coupon, right? Now, this is a huge friction, and according to Steve Crook's book, every question mark adds to the buyer's mental workload. And whether the question is a literal question or, a thought that, okay, where is this? Or do I have one of those? These questions adds to the mental workload and eventually leads them to getting impatient and eventually leaving the checkout, right? So when you have a coupon available, or you have the option for customers to implement coupon, make it very evident to the person that, okay, this is how you place the coupon, rather than hiding the field or make it very tiny for them to click and enable the coupon option. Make it evident, make it easy for them to use the coupon, because when someone has a coupon and they're ready to check out, it's almost guaranteed that this is a sale and you're going to make the money. So manually inputting addresses. I understand it's not a problem. It's a common customary. People expect that, okay, if I am on the checkout, I should be entering my addresses. But with latest technology available out there, why not reduce that workload for them? The concept of Don't Make Me Think book by Steve Krug is not just about making everything apparent on this page. It's also about reducing the mental workload of the buyer. So if someone is on your website and you're making him think a lot and making him work a lot on the checkout page, then it adds as a friction. Now, obviously, as I said, inputting the data in the address field doesn't really always push away customers, but it sometimes does when people are in a hurry. So in this case, what you can use autocomplete feature from Google or the autofill feature for people who are logged into your website. So a lot of tools allow that. So for example, in WPFunnels, we have the option to connect it with Google Autocomplete. So when someone enters their street address, it automatically traces all the other information and autofills it. And it also has a feature where when someone has already purchased in the past and now they're logged in, so when they're in the checkout forms are autofilled. WooCommerce also has that by default, that if you have placed an order before, now when you're about to place another order, it is autofilled. But not all e-commerce stores have that, and this adds as a friction to many, as I said, to people who are in a hurry. So this is a small detail, but if you can fix this, then go ahead and do that, because it's at least going to save you from losing a few customers here and there. Steve Krug wrote the book Don't Make Me Think 20 years ago, and would you believe it? It's still relevant in every area of any online business. All right, so whether you're running e-commerce shop, whether you're selling digital products, any type of online business you're running, the concepts of Don't Make Me Think still apply. And today, it's even more important because things surprisingly are actually getting more and more complicated. All right. The checkout pages people are trying, they're experimenting a lot of stuff, throwing in a lot of colors, trying to make it too fancy, and it's only hurting the business more, right? So it's high time you start following the concepts of Don't Make Me Think. And the whole book really revolves around 5 core principles that you can apply to improve your checkout experience for your buyers. This involves reservoir of goodwill, that is keeping your own trust, which people are putting on you when they're coming to your shop. Just like the first scenario I talked about, keeping additional fees, you're breaking that trust. So do not do that. The second one is mindless and unambiguous choices. Make it so simple that they know exactly what they have to do without even thinking, right? It has to be straightforward. Next comes visual hierarchy. Every page needs a key, clear focal point, and what is important should stand out as the most important thing. Everything else should look visually beneath it. Then comes self-evident over self-explanatory. So anything that is not possible to make obvious on the first glance, it should at least explain itself instantly so that everybody know what this is about. And finally, cutting down on question marks, because the more questions there is more mental workload involved, which causes customers to move away from your website. Okay, so all of these principles, if you want to apply, start with applying it on the checkout page, then move through the other aspects of the website. It can be applied anywhere on your website. The core concept of not making your customers think, making it crystal clear, simple and stupid, so that they know exactly what they want to do, how they can do it, what's the next evident action to take. Okay, nothing should be confusing. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave a link to the book in the description. I have no affiliation with Steve Krug or the book. In fact, WPFunnels has no affiliation with it. I just wanted to share everything that I learned and how this applies to the checkout process of any online business, right? At the same time, I would like to point out that some of the things that I discussed over here, such as implementing a modest order bump, then talking about controlling the fields that are supposed to be there on the checkout, control design, and well navigated multi-step checkout. All of those can be actually created using WPFunnels. If you don't know, WPFunnels is a dedicated funnel builder for WooCommerce. So if you have an online store that's built around WooCommerce, you can use WPFunnels to create full funnel journeys based on your actual store right now. So you create a store-wide checkout, and through that you can implement order bumps and upsell offers and tie it up with email automation to make it a whole process for the buying journey, to make the customer first convert, second make them spend more on every order, right? So if you want, I will leave a link in the description for WPFunnels. You can try it out for free first and then decide on upgrading based on your needs. So that I'm going to keep on the description. And in case you want to keep track of all of these tactics separately when you want to apply it one by one, I'm going to drop a link of a playlist for each of them with separated explanations so that you can just follow it one by one. All right. I personally think you should go ahead and read the book directly, because I'm sure you're going to find a lot more things on your website to correct than just the checkout. And what I suggest is that you go ahead and start correcting all of this that I talked about one by one, because if all of them are checked out, I can assure you that you're going to see a significant fall in abandoned cart rates or a significant rise in your number of orders. All right. So thanks for watching. I hope you really find it helpful. Please hit the subscribe button and like the video in case you found it useful. And hopefully in the future, when we make more videos like this, you get to watch them first. Okay. So thanks for watching. Take care.